Hello, I'm Jane Dutton with a wrap of the week's news. Stormy weather for those living in the Western Cape and for EFF leaders accused of looting VBS. An affidavit made by disgraced former VBS Mutual Bank chairman has implicated, amongst many others, economic freedom fighters Julius Malema and Floyd Shivambu in dealings with the now defunct bank. Tsifiwe Matodzi details the corruption and looting of more than 2.2 billion rand from the bank that led to its collapse. Matodzi's sentence was reduced from 495 years after he struck a deal with the state.
In his affidavit, Tsifiwe Matodzi details how his relationship with the EFF was formed after the party criticized the bank for granting a home loan to former President Jacob Zuma for his Nkandla residence, something the EFF would publicly bash the bank for. Matodzi says he decided to meet EFF leaders Julius Malema and Floyd Shivambu at the party's penthouse in Sandton, where it was agreed that the bank would donate 5 million rand and a further R1 million a month to the Red Berets. He says the deposits would be made to an account named Skamega, a company owned by Shivambu's brother, Brian. Matodzi says he, Malema and Shivambu understood the donations to be gratifications, which would later have to be regularized through the drafting of a bogus contract for work in petroleum and storage facilities. Malema's previously denied meeting Matodzi beyond a brief exchange at a party. He's also denied having any dealings with the bank. Khomzo Modise, Eyewitness News.
Water, absolutely everywhere, with more on the way. The extreme weather battering parts of the country is far from over. The South African Weather Service has issued several yellow, level 4 warnings for Friday, including damaging winds and disruptive rain that could lead to localized flooding of roads and settlements in the Western Cape. Thousands of homes have been badly affected. At least 500 residents of the Endlovini informal settlement in Khayelitsha were promised relocation. Various sections of Table Mountain National Park are closed off due to flooding. The entire Tankwa Karoo National Park near the border of Northern and Western Cape has also been shut down due to heavy snowfall. Now, before we get on to the Springboks' chances of beating the Irish again on Saturday, today families will be taking DNA tests to help identify victims of Wednesday's car crash that killed 11 children and their driver. The children lost their lives when the minibus taxi they were travelling in was rammed into from behind by a Ford Ranger, which sent it spiralling and catching alight. 8 other children and the driver of the Ford Ranger survived the ordeal and were rushed to hospital before 7 of them were released. The police have confirmed the launch of an investigation and the opening of a case of culpable homicide. The family of 2 children involved in the crash said they are struggling to accept the loss of one of their children while another one is in hospital.
Our children shouldn't have died. 12-year-olds are grown. Each was supposed to have their own seat.
Some political parties have added to growing calls for former Gauteng Health MEC Gaidani Mahlangu to be charged with culpable homicide for the Life Esidimeni tragedy, in which 144 mental health patients died. This after the Pretoria High Court found that the death of 9 were negligently caused by Mahlangu and the former head of the Mental Health Directorate, Makgabo Manamela, in 2016. Action SA says the outcome of the inquest is a clear justification to criminalise undue political interference in government.
I think that criminal charges of culpable homicide now definitely need to be laid, and it should be done as soon as possible because we need to see justice done, particularly for the families of those who died.
This week, 3 years ago, the country was in the grip of violence and looting, and a Soweto family continues to suffer from the devastating impact of the 2021 July unrest, as they've been left to fend for themselves following the death of their breadwinner. Amanda and Zodwa Magadule were in their early 20s when their mother died during a stampede at the Ndofire Mall in Soweto. 55-year-old Mandisa Magadule left home to participate in looting at the mall, intending to bring back clothes and toys for her unborn grandchild.
I'll still say I've recovered, but also I could just say I haven't, because it's the want that I can't stop touching. It's so painful, to be honest. I don't think I'll ever find closure. To be honest, I lost my best friend, my mom, my everything. we used to share everything, because ever since she passed away, like, a lot of things like have changed.
The Springboks are gearing up for their second and final test against Ireland in Durban on Sunday. What are the chances they're going to win again?
The Springboks are behind me, putting together their final preparations for tomorrow's second test against Ireland. Coach Rassie Rasmus named an unchanged matchday squad for the match, while the Irish coach, Andy Farrell, was forced into making 4 changes, one of which was an astonishing one, dropping the captain Peter Omani to the bench, with Kalen Doris leading in his place. Tomorrow's second test is an all-important one, as it puts together once again the top 2 ranked sides in the world. Kickoff is at 5 p.m. Mawande Mateza, Eyewitness News at Kings Park in Durban.
And that's it. Don't forget to download the EWN and the Prime Media Plus.
Eyewitness News, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, log on to ewn.co.za or ewn.mobi.